Ah, there you are, right on time. This video is part of the NationGen MagicGen series, which is a MagicGen game, meaning that all the spells in the game are randomly generated. In this video, I'm going to be looking at the Astral spells. Let's start in Conjuration. So level 0, in combat we can conjure an invasive madman. This is slightly more interesting than it sounds, even with a 200% cast time, because the madman comes with Mind Slime 3. Mind Slime is an aura that just slimes people near you, and Slime is a brutal debuff actually. So that might have some kind of application, I don't know. Pretty funny anyway. And we can also do a ritual to summon fortune-telling madmen. These are particularly interesting, because they have Fortune Teller, and it only takes 3 pearls. So if you can spare the pearls and the Astral caster, might as well just dump a bunch of these in your fortresses, since they'll prevent some bad events. Kinda nice. Nothing then at 1. At 2 we have Power of the Spheres, 250 cast time, takes a pearl, Power of the Spheres. At 3 we have a ritual to do Ether Archers, requires Astral 3 and 4 pearls, and gets you 3 of them. So some Ether Warrior Archers with Moonbows, pretty nice. As well as a ritual to send Madmen. This attacks a province with 41 Madmen, plus 7 per level. The creatures attack everything in the province, including friendlies, and then disappear. Madmen are not the most incredible combatants ever, but 41 of them might kill a few bits of PD. Nothing at 4. At 5 we have Light of Northern Star. It requires S2 and 2 pearls. What's up, Light of the Northern Star? At 5, this is interesting, we have a national summon to summon Othernesses. You get 6 for 12 pearls, so 2 pearls each. They are Othernesses that have unsurroundable 5, so they take fewer penalties from multiple attackers attacking them. Othernesses are usually a Rillier summon, and for those guys they are sacred, but these ones are not sacred, they are non-sacred Othernesses. It's still a very cool summon. They're very tanky, they trample, they have lots of resists, they regen. Pretty cool summon, and we're the only people who get that, so very nice. For Astral 3 we can also teleport an Adventurer. Might be useful because this can produce healers, and you know, healers are in short supply usually. It is pretty random though which one you get, but if you are swimming in pearls, might be worth using it a couple of times to try and get a healer out. And there is a global as well, Otherworldly Portals. Gonna let you in on a secret, guys. I'm gonna try and cast this as soon as I can, because I think it looks cool. And I think it will help out our nation, because our nation gets pretty good units, but there's gonna be not that many of them. We have like big, expensive units, so having a global that fills in the gaps, you know, with some chaff, I think that would be good for us. So I'll try and cast this. But basically, in every friendly province with a lab, there is a chance per point of dominion to spawn a bunch of junk. So small angels of the host, small things that should not be, lifebound ether archers, shrunken elder things, so on. Looks pretty funny. And it seems like a pretty easy thing to cast, S3, N2. So we'll give it a shot, only 40 pearls. Seems like it might be fun. At 6 we can summon a bishop. This is an H3 priest, so that's kind of nice. It's like a not necessarily, not at all underwater version of Bishop Fish. So Astral and 15 pearls gets you a bishop, pretty nice. And then with an Astral 6 caster and 55 pearls, there is another global that's similar to the one I just showed, but this is I think smaller chance, and it just gives you commanders instead of units. Pretty interesting looking commanders though. Invasive thing that should not be, invasive Kenzoku, invasive lesser otherness, and so on. Pretty cool. At level 7 we have a ritual to summon an abomination, so it requires Astral 5 and 7 pearls. Get you an abomination. Can't remember what these units are. Are they the big purple things? They have a death gaze, it might be kind of good. I don't know. Only takes 7 pearls to cast. If you've got a S5 caster spare, might do it a few times, get a few abominations, why not? And nothing at 8 and 9 then, interesting. Guess we're going to be heavier in other books, let's see. Alteration, nothing at 0. Level 1 we have Luck for the caster, but it's a 200% cast time. gives you some luck. And Quicken Self. Quickness for the caster, also 200% cast time though. I'm not a huge fan of the self buffs all having big cast times even when they're early in the book. In general, I just don't like self buffs with long cast times. But, I mean, I guess it's because they're early. But I'd rather just not have them, I think. Level 2, we have Extended Averted Fate. 100% cast time for the caster, applies both Twist Fate and Fool's Luck. Vapor Body is Mist Form, so 100% cast time. That's pretty nice. All of our S1 mages can do that. Mist Form at level 2, pretty good. And Fog of Protection, which is Twist Fate in AoE 1, and it lingers for 4 turns in a cloud. Have a 200% cast time though, but that's a nice way of just laying down some Twist Fates. Seems nice. 3, an S2 mage can do Group Twisted Fate. So, seems a bit more efficient. Scaling 8 AoE, only 100% cast time. Does some Twist Fate. 4, we have Fog of Slowness. So, yeah, this is slow. So this is like slime. So halves your action speed and gives you a penalty to attack and defense. It's a pretty nice spell actually. It's a shame that AoE doesn't scale. But it's a cloud. AoE 3 lingering 4. Slow cloud. That's pretty good actually. It's really easy to cast too. Yeah, it's such a shame it doesn't scale. Still, nice one. Level 5 we have Hasty Mist of Luck. So this is luck plus quickness it looks like. But you can resist the quickness effect unfortunately. So it's AoE 4 lingering 4 luck. And then if you fail a magic resistance roll you get some quickness. Pretty cool. How hard was that to cast? Only requires S2 and 70 fatigue. No gem though. Pretty good. Lots of kind of, nice buffs in here. At 6 then, with Astral 3 and a Pearl, we can do Group Extended Twist Fate. That is a very big AoE. 22 plus 3 scaling. Applies both Twist Fate and Fool's Luck. Interesting. I wonder if this is better or worse on... I mean, because our units have a lot of hit points, which makes me think Fool's Luck is worth more? I'm not sure exactly. I'm always a bit like nervous about using Fool's Luck. Fool's Luck alternates between preventing and doubling incoming damage. So over time I guess you take the same amount of damage, but yeah. Just every now and again you get hit massively, and then every other turn you don't get hit at all. Kind of weird. Level 7 we have Hasty Mass Twisted Fate. Only requires S2 and 2 pearls. The entire battlefield gets Twist Fate, and then quickness, if they fail magic resistance roll. That's pretty cool. Just Twist Fate for the whole battlefield, and then, yeah, all your low magic resistance units will also get quickened. Which might be good, actually, because if they have lower magic resistance, they're probably less important, so they can rush ahead and die first. Pretty easy to cast, though. S2 and 2 pearls, yeah, nice. Level 8, S3 and 3 pearls get you Ghostly Haze Troops. So this is Mist Form plus Ethereality, it looks like. But again, only if you fail a magic resistance roll do you get the Ethereality. So that's pretty interesting. S5, 125, AoE is 28 plus 4 per level, and then takes 3 pearls. That's pretty cool. How hard was that to cast? It's pretty late in the spellbook though, but that is a lot of Mist Form. It's not quite Fog Warriors. It's kind of weird to have Mist Form and Ethereal. It's not too bad to cast though if we actually get there. Now we have a ritual then, requires S6 and 110 gems. You assume this is a global. Looks like it. Generates 9d6 Astral Pearls per month. Sounds pretty good. That's a lot of pearls. Probably going to pay for itself pretty quickly. And Wish is in the spellbook as well at level 9. So, that is a lot of yellow text. I assume it's just Wish though that we all know and love. Never actually used Wish in a game before, I don't think, but one of those things that sounds cool. Evocation next, let's see. So 0 we have 4 spells, let's see. So we have Strike Through Space. range 50, 100 cast time, target one person. You hit them for 6 plus your strength points of mundane blunt damage, more likely to hit in the head. Literally just opening a portal to punch someone, pretty funny. Nice start. We have slowing Stellar Touch, so range 3, so we're probably never going to see it. But yeah, shine some armor negating damage on someone, and then maybe slow them as well. It's very spammy if people do get into range, I suppose. 25% cast time and 2+1 effect. Pretty nice if you get up on people. Color Spray is range 20, 200 cast time, AoE 10, does some stun. Okay. And slowing Touch of Disenchantment. This requires S2. So it's another range 3 spell though, so probably not going to see it. But yeah, more armor negating damage, only affects magic beings. And then also slows. So, more like Arcane Bolt. But very fast cast time. Level 1 then we have an S1 ritual, firing 2 pearls. Does some scrying. It's Astral Projection, so I assume that means, yeah, if you scry a province with a Astral Mage in it, you get feeble-minded. We have Stellar Light in combat, so this is a fatigue attack. So range is 35 plus 5, cast time is 200%, AoE is 1, precision 100. Very easy to cast, 5 fatigue cost. Does 35 points of armor piercing fatigue damage. But with a magic resistance win, you only take half. Yeah, this is like Stellar Cascades. Still the lame Dominions 5 nerfed version that's armor piercing. And we have Otherworldly Compression. This requires S3 and a Pearl. Does, let's see, range 25 plus 5, 250 cast time, AoE is 5 plus 1 scaling, and it does 17 points of armor piercing blunt damage. The caster draws on otherworldly forces to crush a few of their enemies. Nice. 2 then, we have Gift from Heaven. Requires S3 and a Pearl. Drops a single meteor on people, I assume. Looks like it. So, 100 range, 100 cast time, 1 projectile. It has -3 precision and it's inaccurate. Does 150 points of magical blunt damage. Meteors will strike anywhere in a 3x3 box centered on where the caster intended. I guess that's what inaccurate does. Level 3 we have Stellar Cascades. Requires S2 and a Pearl. This must be big. No, it's not that big. AoE 10 doesn't scale. Still does 35 points of armor piercing fatigue damage. That's a bit disappointing. I guess it's not too bad. That's pretty early in the book though, right? Yeah, it's only at level 3 in the book. Okay, that makes sense then. That's not too bad. You get that pretty early. Might surprise someone. And we have Solar Blast as well. S2 and a Pearl. Does AoE 4. Armor piercing damage that only affects undead beings. So, there's some early targets if you need to deal with a bunch of dudes who can be fatigued, or dudes who are undead. Level 4 then we have Ill-Fated Solar Rays. So this is more Solar Rays, AoE 2, but also does Cursed Luck. Those that fail to resist gain 3 rounds of Cursed Luck. The effects of luck are removed from them, and there is a 50% chance that they subtract an open-ended 1d6 from their defense and protection rolls made in this time. Interesting, that sounds pretty good. Yeah, nice way of dealing with some undead, I suppose. Nice little upgrade. We have a Soul-Slaying Cosmic Crush. So range 20 plus 5, only 50% cast time. Does area affect 1 person, 0 precision though, so it might miss. But it does 17 points of mundane blunt damage that's armor piercing, and then it also soul slays. That's pretty funny. The caster draws on otherworldly forces to crush 1 enemy. The spell is imbued with strange magic that forcefully rips the soul out of creatures it kills. Oh, Astral Geyser, nice. So S2 gets you Astral Geyser in combat. So AoE 1 Horror Mark, that then does an AoE 6, 2 points of armor getting damage. That's really nice. That's a really nice AoE. Cool. It is MA Negate. Well, that's at 4. Yeah, nice Astral stuff. Kind of ramps up pretty nicely. Got some nice early stuff, and then it's getting slightly better. We have improved Otherworldly Compression then. So this is crushing our enemies, takes a pearl. Has a 15 plus 3 scaling AoE, and a 350 cast time, and takes 2 pearls. And it's just armor-piercing blunt damage. Armor offers some protection from the strange forces, but the spell is quite ineffective against ethereal creatures. And finally we have Touch of Irradiation. Requires S4. Oh, another short range one. So, range 3, 50 cast time, 2 AoE, so it might hit you. Well, maybe not. No, oh, well, I guess if it's in melee range. I always think of spells like this as being directly in melee range. Precision 100 does armor negating damage. Pretty nice. The caster's touch radiates astral energy that is deadly to all kinds of creatures. Despite its lethality, the caster is able to shield himself and his allies from its short range effects. Oh, it doesn't affect friendlies. Oh, nice, okay. It won't hit you then. We have nothing then at 5 and 6, so we had a nice kind of gradual upgrade of all the spells and then nothing for a while. And then at 7, an S1 caster can do Halting Astral Torrent. This looks cool. So range doesn't scale, unfortunately. Now there's the AoE. Precision 25. So it's good precision, but it might miss. And it just does 11 points of armor negating damage, plus 1 per level. No magic resistance check. So that's pretty nice, actually. And then on top of that, it can also paralyze if you fail a magic resistance roll. Very spammy as well, only 10 fatigue cost. That seems pretty good. It is at 7 though. So you have to go quite a way to get to it. We have improved Stellar Light as well. Slightly upgraded version of the Stellar Cascades spell. So, ultra long range, 60 plus 10. AoE is 7 plus 1. And it does 35 points of, fatigue damage. Pretty good. Requires S2. Not bad though. Let's see what the last big spells are. So we've got Astral Geysers, looks good. So 11 plus 1 effects and they're AoE 1 each. Dropping Horror Marks. And then they do AoE 6, Astral Geyser Burst. That looks sick. Takes a Pearl. Burst is I'm getting MA Negate. Yeah, that looks really good. It's very imprecise though. I guess that doesn't matter too much though if you're just dropping 11 effects that then do an AoE 6. Seems pretty good. And Meteor Shower, I assume, is just the battle enchantment. Don't think I've ever actually used that in a game, but it's there. S5E3, 3 pearls. And finally, at level 9, an S5 mage can do Astral Torrent. So this is 70 plus 5 range, 100 cast time, AoE 2, 25 precision, very easy to cast, and does 15 plus 1 points of armor negating magic damage with no save. So pretty good. Very, very late in the spellbook. Very hard to cast. But pretty good. And Strands of Arcane Power is also in the book, so there we go. Pretty light. Yeah. Kinda good. What about construction? Anything in here? So at level 1 we have a ritual to construct a starlit statue, which will let you recruit S1 mages. Don't think we need that, but there it is. At level 3 we can create Telistic Animates, although this is in combat, which might not be terribly useful. I suppose it depends though, right? You get 3 of them for a pearl. They're pretty tanky and, they can bless themselves if you've got a nice bless that can make use of that. Maybe you just desperately need H2 priests. I suppose if you're up against maybe something that's the lots of undead, you might cast this. Get some priests. Do some banishes. I'm not sure. We have a ritual then that is a national spell, so only we can do this. Requires S3 and 35 pearls. Creates a site that lets you recruit S1 and S2 mages. Also probably not too useful to us. Maybe though, maybe there'll be some use for that. Suppose they might be really, really good researchers or something. 5, we do have Assemble Telistic Animate as a ritual. So S3, 4 pearls, get you a Telistic Animate commander, nice. 7, we have Astral Weapons in combat. This is AoE 1. All melee attacks from effective creatures inflict armor negating damage if they did not already. That sounds very good. I'm not sure what effect that is. That's not Weapons of Sharpness, is it? Because isn't that only AP? It's a shame it's only AoE 1. Can't really make huge use of that, but that's cool. Giving some of your troops AN damage. Pretty late in the book though, I suppose. At level 9 we have Otherworldly Weapons. So is this the same... This looks like exactly the same spell. It's still AoE 1. 80 Fatigue. What was this one? AoE 1, 80 Fatigue. I guess it's just easier to cast. Only takes S1. That's very cool though. Very late in the book. And finally a ritual to construct a Juggernaut. So I assume that's just the usual Juggernaut unit. Requires S4 and 7 pearls. Pretty cool. Enchantment then. Nothing at 0, nothing at 1. At 2 we have Astral Shield. 200% cast time unfortunately, but it's Astral Shield for the caster. 3 we have a ritual to do Arcane Wood. S3, 4 pearls. This is Arcane Dome, it looks like. Or Dome of Arcane Warding. That's nice. Pretty early, very cheap. I like how early and cheap the domes are in MagicGen. It's much, much better than in vanilla. Nothing at 4. 5 we have Dispel and Eyes of God, so looks like those are the usual spells. Nothing at 6. 7 we have Astral Haze. So grants many soldiers a shield of astral energy. I assume that's Astral Shield. So AoE 10 plus 1 and lingers for 4 turns. So it's a cloud buff. That's not too bad. It's kind of late, I suppose, but only takes S2. 95 Fatigue. Anti-magic is also in the book. That is kind of late. Level 8. It requires S3. But there's anti-magic if we need it. And at level 9 we have Precluding Astral Fog. Requires S4 and 3 pearls. So this is the entire battlefield gets Astral Shield. And then also gets Twist Fate. That's a pretty nice buff, actually. But that's level 9 though, that's really late. So this is also a cloud, that's pretty funny. So 3 pearls, 175 cast time, everyone gets Astral Shield and yeah, Twist Fate. And then S5 and 3 pearls gets you Mass Astral Shield. Isn't that just strictly worse than this? I think so. Looks like it. Yeah, it's just strictly worse. That's kind of odd. This even has a longer cast time. Looks like there's something gone wrong with it as well. By offering blood to a dark power, there's no blood here. That's kind of buggy. I think Precluding Astral Fog is just strictly better in all ways, I think. But there we go. What about Thaumaturgy? This is usually the home of Astral. Oh yeah, that's a lot of spells. Let's see. So at 0 we have like a billion spells already. We got Dispel Illusion, okay. So this is 999 points of armor negating damage for illusions. That's kind of cool. If you really need to get rid of some Phantasmal Warriors, there's the spell for you. We have Communion spells with a 200 cast time, unfortunately. But we also have access to the Earth Communion spells, so that's okay. We can conjure a peasant in combat with 200% cast time. Or fortune-telling peasants. So this is a bit like our fortune-telling madman earlier in the book. So 4 pearls gets you 16 plus 9 fortune-telling peasants that have 5% fortune teller. Pretty good. We have Ill-Fated Horror Mark. Range 50, 200 cast time, 100 precision, 1 person gets horror marked and then also gets cursed luck. Pretty nice. We have Halt. 100 range, 100 cast time, 1 person, 100 precision gets halted. So paralyzed damage. We have Blink, which I assume is, yep, Blink for the caster, 200 cast time. And Blink Foe. Blink for an enemy, 200 cast time. 30 range. What else we got? Level 1 then. In combat we can conjure a horror marking peasant. So this is a peasant, the summoned creature is imbued with power to attract the attention of otherworldly creatures. Those attacking in melee will become horror marked if they fail to resist. It sounds like it horror marks you if you attack the peasant. Could be wrong, that's what it sounds like though. We have Dispel Illusions, which is an AoE 1 version of the Instigib Illusion spell, pretty nice. We have Ill-Fated Halt. So this inflicts Paralyze, 100 range, 100 cast time, 1 person, 100 precision, and then also gives you Cursed Luck. We then have a ritual to do Summon Benevolent Peasants. This only requires S1, and it's a ritual that takes 34 pearls. And it summons 16 plus 9 peasants. that have Bringer of Fortune. So when people saw this spell on the game Discord, a lot of people, I think, just built their whole game around it because it's like Firebirds. So you can just summon tons and tons of benevolent peasants that will trigger good events, that will give you loads of pearls, which lets you keep spamming the spell. So you can expect to see lots of forts in the game just stuffed full of benevolent peasants. Yeah. Pretty funny how... I mean, it's very expensive is the thing. But if you're lucky, then they'll generate so many pearl events that it will start to pay for itself. And the scaling on it is so good that if you have a high astral caster, it's going to generate tons of peasants. Yeah, I'm going to expect to see a lot of that one in the game. We have Curse, requires S2, 50 range, 200 cast time, AoE 1 Curse, that also does Cursed Luck. Interesting. That'd be a horrible one to drop on your Pretender. We have Horror Mark for one person, 200% cast time, 100 precision, 50 range. The target gains 2 Horror Marks. We have Unravel Undead for a Pearl. So AoE 5 does 18 plus 3 points of armor negating magic damage that only affects undead, with no save. That's going to be pretty good if we see any early undead targets rushing us or something. And finally we have Returning. So 350 cast time, but the caster can go back to their capital, or potentially be lost in the void. Kind of nice that it's early, I suppose. Level 2 then. Astral 1, Blood 1. We have Parasitic Dimensional Instability. What does this do? So this is an attack spell that does Blink in AoE 4, and then additionally drains life. The caster creates instabilities in space around a few enemies. This causes them to be harmlessly sucked in and placed in another position on the battlefield. Only affects enemies. The spell is infused with foul magic that may leech life of those it affects. It sounds like it might actually be a pretty good spell. Because it's life drain that's just also disrupting enemy formations. That could be pretty good actually. Where is that? Oh, it does require a cross path though that we're never going to have. But that's cool, I like that. To them we also have Horror Mark. So 50 range, 100 cast time, AoE 1. Target gains 1 Horror Mark. And Slowing Halt Foes. So this is a range 100, precision 100, but it's 200% cast time. There's an AoE of 6 that does not scale. And it does Paralyze and Slow. So that's a pretty cool spell as well. How hard's that to cast? S3. I'm probably not going to spam it much. That's cool though. 3 we have Slowing Halt. So is this a similar sort of thing? Paralysis and then slowness? Yeah, so this one's AoE 6 and this one is just one person. 25 fatigue cost as well. And Vapor of Dispersion. So this looks like it's Blink Foe in a cloud. Oh no, it's Blink Ally actually. Interesting. So if you really want to drop an AoE 1 Lingers for Cloud onto the battlefield that will blink your allies, there's the spell for you. Personally, probably not going to ever cast that spell, but there it is. Level 4 then, we have Confusion, and S2 Mage can confuse one person. 25 plus 5 range, 100 precision, confuses someone. Improved Curse. So 0 precision, 50 range. This is... wow, is that an AoE 12 plus 1 curse spell? That's not bad. Vengeance of the Dead is in the spellbook. 3 pearls. Issue Vengeance of the Dead, people. We don't have any death, unfortunately, but need to be aware that that's in the spellbook. Soul Sundering then, S4 Pearl does... this looks like a big AoE Soul Slay. So 100 range, 100 precision, but it's 250 cast time. AoE 3 that does not scale. 999 points of magic damage that can be negated, also does Soul Slaying. Does take a pearl to cast though. And finally we have Entice Militia. Is this a global? S5, 35 pearls. Global enchantment. This enchantment affects all friendly provinces with the caster's dominion. Common populace may find common folk strangely interested in volunteering for the local militia. So... every turn, each friendly province has 3 independent chances to be affected. So 12% per point of dominion up to 3, 6% per point of dominion up to 3, and then 3% per point of dominion, and it grants you 2 points of province defense. I wonder if there's an upper limit on how much PD that can give you, or if it just keeps going, because that could get pretty ridiculous in a long enough game. Where's that? Entice Militia? It's only Thaumaturgy 4. S5? That would be a funny one to go after, wouldn't it? The god that I've made would need a booster for that, though, I think. Might be a target. Would be kind of cool. What else we got? Level 5 in combat. S1 mage with a pearl can do group teleportation. So this is for friendlies? Oh, it's returning, okay. Yeah, AoE 7 plus 1 returning spell. It is for friendlies, right? The spell affects only friendly units, yeah. We have Akashic Record. So S2 mage with 10 pearls can cast Akashic Record. Cast it on someone's capital, you get their graphs. We have Horror Marks. This is an S4 spell that takes a pearl. This sounds exciting. The entire battlefield gets 1 Horror Mark. Very nice. We might find some use for that. I got a lot of mileage out of the big Horror Mark spells at the end of the last MagicGen game. So there we go. Need to remember that's in there, just in case we get to turn 100 and whatever it was in this game as well. And then an S4 mage with 4 pearls can do Unfortunate Dimensional Instability. So range 30, 225 cast time, AoE is 59 plus 8. What a peculiar AoE. 0 precision, takes 4 pearls. So this, damn, it's enemy blink, and then it also does cursed luck. That might be good. I mean, blinking that many enemy units could potentially be good, but it could also potentially be very bad because it's so many. It might just dump a ton of enemy units behind your mages or something. You'd have to be really confident in your own positioning to make use of something like that, I think. But it could be very effective. Because an AoE that big might also hit enemy mages pretty easily and blink them somewhere unfortunate, ironically. Interesting spell. Only level 5 as well, could play with that early. 6th then we have Soul Slay, whereas S2 looks like Soul Slay that we all know and love. Mr. Paralysis is... So this is 1 person, but it's a cloud, so it's actually AoE 1. Paralysis, basically. Not too bad. True Seeing then. So S3 and a Pearl lets you do True Seeing, which just dispels all hostile illusions. Pretty cool. I have seen in previous MagicGen games there were some quite nice summons that were illusions. So, a spell like that isn't too bad actually. In previous MagicGen games there were also lots of spells that let you like ritual summon illusionary creatures. You could end up with tons and tons of Phantasmal Warriors. So yeah, it makes sense to see spells like that appearing as well to kind of counter that. And Malign Mass Paralysis. So this is only level 6 in the spellbook, and it requires Astral 7 and 4 pearls. And it is... the entire battlefield gets paralyzed and horror marked. But it also affects friendlies. That is very cool though. That's another spell that might come into play later on in the game. I think you just gain 1 horror mark though, which is a shame. Lots of paralysis though. Very cool. 7 then we have Otherworldly Repulsion Field. An S2 mage can do this one. So this is a range 3, 25% cast time, AoE 18, Lingering 9, enemy blink spell it looks like. Which is already kind of probably not very useful. But then it also horror marks you as well. Oh, okay. It says that the spell only affects enemies, so I'm a bit confused because it doesn't say that in the spell description. So if it only affects enemies, that's actually extremely useful. Because it's just a cloud around your mages that makes it impossible to get in melee range with you. So that actually sounds... that's actually really good. What was that one? Otherworldly Repulsion Field, so S2 at level 7. Yeah, if friendlies are protected from that spell, that's great. That's just a giant cloud around your mages that lasts 9 turns. So if you're getting killed by melee units, that'd be amazing, actually. I'll take the spell's white text at its word, that it only affects enemies. Pretty cool. We then have a ritual, requires S6 and 12 pearls, Crystal of Scrying. Generates a scrying site that may be used to scry lands up to 9 provinces away. Pretty cool. That's permanent as well, looks like. So it's not going to be based on how many pearls you put into it or something. And we also have Mass Soul Rip, so a level 8 Astral Caster with 5 pearls can hit the entire battlefield with Soul Slay. Including friendlies, it looks like. Well, there it is. Doesn't affect Mindless though. I wonder if we can summon something mindless and get it to cast that. MO negates easily though. It might be a bit too hard to cast to really make use of, but it's cool that it exists. Level 8 then, we have Enslave Mind. It's Enslave, range 100, cast time 100, 1 person, precision 100. It's enslaved, and it requires S2 and 15 fatigue. You have Enslave Group. Same constraints, but it takes a pearl and has an AoE of 6. And does Enslave. That's pretty nice. That's a good milestone to finally hit if we got lots of S2 casters. Crimson Void Portal requires S3 Blood 2. So this is 1 person, but it lingers, so it's AoE 1 Cloud. And I think this is more Blink, and then also Bleeding. Oh no, it's not Blink. It looks like the gate is open and the target is instantly thrown into the void, unless the victim successfully resists the pull. Being sent to the void means certain death for most, but even those who survive will likely suffer permanent insanity. The spell is filled with a dark energy that may cause those affected to begin bleeding profusely. Wow, so that's a banishment, it looks like. So a banishment spell that's a cloud. Sounds like it might be really good. And then on top of that, it also does bleeding. Yeah, we don't have any blood cross path, but that also seems like a really good spell. Dominate Group then. So is this different from... This looks different from the... So the Enslave spells are just straight enslavement. And then Dominate Group is... Okay, so it's just implemented in a way that makes you take two magic resistance rolls. Instead of 1. So because this is a charm spell that has like a big AoE and it scales as well, it's just more difficult to resist. So it does 1 point of armor negating damage that can be magic resisted. And then if you fail that, then you can also be dominated, which again has a magic resistance check. Interesting. An S4 mage with 3 pearls can then do Immobilizing Doom in combat. So this is Curse for the entire battlefield. Doesn't affect friendlies, okay. That's nice for the battlefield-wide astral spells suddenly. Yeah, so 175 cast time, and all enemies get cursed, and then all enemies get cursed luck, it looks like. And then all enemies? No, this looks like everybody. Yeah, this is just everybody. Everybody gets paralyzed. Well, either way, only enemies get cursed and cursed luck, and then maybe everyone gets paralyzed, I'm not sure. But there we go, pretty good. It is very late in the spellbook though. We have improved horror marks. Okay, let's see how good this one is. This is S5 and a pearl. The entire battlefield gains 7 horror marks. Even affects friendlies. Alright, that's cool. And Mass Confusion. Entire battlefield gets confusion. Including friendlies. Takes 3 pearls. And what's at level 9 then? We have Forced Returning. Requires S1 and no pearls. AoE 9, +1 scaling, returning spell. So this just sends enemies back to their capital. These spells are extremely powerful. I made good use of one of these spells in the last MagicGen game as well. And Astral Travel is also in the spellbook. Nice. That was Thaumaturgy, right? Yeah. Lots of spells in there. Any in blood? Doesn't look like it. So there we go, there is the Astral spellbook. We are pretty light on Astral spells in some of these schools, I suppose. But lots of stuff in Thaumaturgy, goddamn. That is a lot of spells. Quite a lot of different tools in there as well. We got fatigue effects, we've got anti-undead stuff, anti-illusion stuff, soul slave, enslavement, horror marking, cursing. Seems pretty nice. Let me know in the comments what you think. Otherwise though, thanks for listening. That's the end of this video. I hope you're enjoying the game itself, And if you are, I guess I'll see you in the next turn video.